the guy that plays, I think he's credited as the White Warlord.
Yeah.
The guy that kills the little girl. Yeah, he's the weirdo dude in Escape from New York. The guy that brings Pleasance's finger when they capture the president.
Yeah.
He's the guy that brings the finger to the guys.
Now I have to go back and rewatch that, dude.
Always a good time to watch Escape from New York.
Also, I didn't want to forget this, but I wanted to shout out the forward-thinking notion of the multiple ethnicities within the gang members, because especially for the time that this came out, they could have easily did some stereotypical bullshit, but they didn't, and that's pretty cool.
And they even mentioned that on the radio too, like when they're talking about the shootout with the cops of the Street Thunder gang, and they're talking about it's a mixed racial makeup. It's not just like one race of guys, like they're everyone.
Yeah, almost like it reminds me of the Warriors a little bit,
Yeah. And also, not just the gang, but like the makeup of everyone in the precinct.
Yeah, very diverse.
For the time that the movie was made, and I know this is a lower budget exploitation, so they were probably better at a more racially diverse cast. But yeah, like you have Bishop, you have Wilson, you have Wells. And, like I said, Bishop's and Wilson, and they're obviously probably the two main characters. But Lee is in there, Wells is in there, and I would argue that they're the four main characters in the film because they're the ones that survived the longest. Yeah, that's some forward thinking stuff in a time when it probably wasn't as reflective on movie screens.
Exactly. Also, we've officially been talking or doing the show longer than this actual movie we're talking about.
The film is very economic. Very lean. And by the way, it earns every single minute of those 90 minutes. Like there's no scenes where you're like, oh, this could get cut. Nothing drags. Carpenter was a pretty efficient filmmaker. I don't think he ever had a movie that was super long. I think the majority of his films are between the 90 and 110 minutes or so.
And I'm gonna talk about this real quick, since he didn't direct it, but he scored the film. But the new Firestarter is not good.
That's what I hear, man. I was thinking about maybe I should check it out, and then I heard, that movie's really not good. Which is kind of a bummer because it's a pretty decent book, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, man, but in the movie, this the main little girl.
It's Charlie? Is it Charlie?
Charlie, yes. Before she tortures somebody, I won't say who it was in case you end up watching it at some point down the line, but she goes, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." Like, Jesus, dude. I don't know, man. But the score rules. You'll love it.
The score is awesome. I'll check out the score then.
Yeah, I would buy that isolated. I think it is going to be pressed on vinyl, if not already out. But yeah, the score is fucking rad. But the movie,
no dice. Well, I did hear that, so that's good to know that I shouldn't waste my time with it. I mean, maybe once it hits like HBO or something, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if you have I don't know if you have Peacock, but it's on Peacock for free right now.
No, but it'll be on HBO soon.
All right.
I think because it's Universal, I think Peacock has like first dibs, and after a certain amount of time, it'll go to HBO.
Oh,
because HBO has played like Fast 9. It played
Halloween Kills. Yeah.
Halloween Kills. Something else like recently was on. Oh, Old is on HBO.
Oh, I just watched that the other night. Again.
Haven't seen it yet, but I will watch it.
You know, when I got done with it, I was like, that was really fun and I liked it, but I was like, man, I could have fucking wrote this screenplay. I could have made this money, dude. Fucking M. Night Shyamalan.
Where does it rank in his latter day films? Like anything post Signs or The Village even. Is it better than all the other crap except for God, what's the one that was like pretty good?
Which one? The Visit?
No, I hate The Visit. You know why? No, the one with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, Split? No,
there was Split. For some reason, I wanted to say Split, but I was like, that's not the title of it.
Maybe you're thinking of Glass because it has the same character in it.
No, I just for some reason I was trying to think of the Anya Taylor-Joy movie, and I was thinking it's not Split, is it? Because I don't think Split was the actual title, but I was wrong.
No, yeah, it is. It's called Split.
Is it decent like Splits, or is it like really shitty like The Last Airbender, After Earth, The Happening, and like that period of Shyamalan?
It's no, it's not. It's not shitty. It's just, no, I'm not. I can't really say much because I want you to watch it without. I don't want to unknowingly spoil anything, but I think it's good, and I think it's one of the stronger movies that he's done lately. In his more recent career, it's definitely among I would say the best.
Okay.
Right.
That's fair enough. I will be watching it.
Because you didn't, if I remember correctly, you weren't really impressed with Glass, right?
No, I thought like it was a good premise and they kind of wasted everything. Each of those characters gets a really shitty death. Yeah, I was really bummed out by Glass. I was hoping it was more of a return to like the Unbreakable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't impressed. He teamed everyone up and then had a good solid cast and then kind of wasted everyone. But I was interested to see Old, so I will watch it.
It's got a great cast, Everything's good. There's just, I was just like, okay, all right. But I'll talk to you off air after you've seen it. And
okay.
For real.
Okay. Oh, man. I do have some notes on the film.
Okay.
First of all, Carpenter's a USC guy. We haven't really talked about the USC connection.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, a lot of people involved with this that he knew and that he had worked with early on were all USC guys.
That is correct.
And even part of this movie is shot, I think, at USC or outside USC, and all the gang members are played by mostly USC students.
I know for a fact the gang members in the beginning that are all gunned down, that's all students.
Yeah. And I think that where they're gunned down is right outside of USC. Because he came out of USC kind of at the right time when George Lucas was coming out of there at around the same time. The first movie that Carpenter makes, Dark Star, he makes with his buddy Dan O'Bannon, who was a USC guy.
Which is kind of it was a student film, right?
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah, it's one I haven't seen, but I'll watch when I do the Carpenter listen on the Blank Check miniseries, because I think I can get it on Amazon. But it also, people who came up with the financing, the $100,000 for the movie, J.S. Kaplan and someone else. What's the other guy's name? Joseph Kaufman, I believe, are USC guys, or at least Kaplan definitely is a USC guy. But here are my notes. Even though Dark Star was kind of like his first film, like you said, it's more of a student film. So he does consider Assault on Precinct 13 to be his first actual film. And I think when I teased this show, when we did the Killer episode last month, I think I made mention of that this is his first official movie per his word, because Dark Star was more of a student film. But Dan O'Bannon is the guy that he makes Dark Star with, who I think he co-direct Dark Star with O'Bannon?
Yes, that is correct.
So this is technically his first official solo film. But O'Bannon, it catches the eye of George Lucas, and O'Bannon goes to do some special effects work on Star Wars. And also O'Bannon goes on to write Alien, or co-write Alien, a couple years after this. He writes Life Force, which we mentioned in October when we talked about Tobe Hooper and Poltergeist. Life Force was his follow-up. And he also writes Total Recall. Right, I think co-writes Total Recall.
Amazing movie.
I believe one we're going to talk about next year, maybe? Hint, hint. Well, we'll get into that at the end of the episode, what we're going to be previewing. But let's just say Total Recall's on the short list for next year. So, one of my notes that I found really interesting is, after Dark Star, Carpenter has 2 scripts, kind of low-budget scripts that he wants to do. One is called Eyes, and the other is The Anderson Alamo, which becomes Assault on Precinct 13. Excuse me. Eyes eventually gets sold to John Peters, who works for, I believe, Warner Brothers at the time. His girlfriend, Barbra Streisand, he buys the script, wants to make this movie with her called The Eyes of Laura Mars. If you've ever seen that movie or ever heard of that movie.
I have not.
It's a movie, if I remember correctly, I have seen it, but it's been years and years ago. It's about a fashion photographer who ends up seeing basically through the killer's eyes. There's like a serial killer, and she ends up seeing through his eyes. It's got Faye Dunaway as the photographer and Tommy Lee Jones as the killer. It's like late 78, maybe 79. Anyways, The Eyes of Laura Mars was originally a script called Eyes that Carpenter had written, which I didn't know that until I was doing the research on this. But the producer, his friend J.S. Kaplan, who produces this movie, only wanted to produce The Anderson Alamo, which, as we mentioned, becomes Assault on Precinct 13. But I thought that was pretty cool, is that he had the chance to do a couple others. Anyway, like you had mentioned in the beginning, he wanted to do the Western, and just the budget wouldn't support it. Which I'm glad he didn't do a Western. This is better.
As far as I can remember, he hasn't really done a traditional Western, right?
No, he's mainly stayed in like sci-fi and horror.
Very genre oriented.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like